My name is John Ross of Finance on a Budget. In this video, I want to focus on the aftermath of bankruptcy. Once it's behind you, then what? You won't get a credit card offer for at least another year, and then when you do, it'll be some 30% APR garbage with yearly fees to boot. But I don't want to focus on that, because this video is about starting a new life, not racking up new debt all over again. What happens after bankruptcy? Now that you've made it out of the storm unscathed, sort of, you're not totally off the hook just yet. Now, you're actually faced with the possibility of rebuilding everything from scratch because you've wiped your old slate clean. However, the responsibility of trying to restore your credit and financial stability can be overwhelming despite the apparent freedom. The fact that you filed for bankruptcy to begin with already means that your future credit is destroyed, giving you a whole mess of problems the next time you want to achieve your long-term financial goals. This is because being approved for a credit card or a personal loan involves a lot more than just a number score. After bankruptcy, it's a lot more about the negative items that are part of your report. You will obviously have the bankruptcy itself as part of the public record, but you will also have the creditors you haven't been paying this whole time. You can dispute them, and some of them may even get removed. But unless you can get all of them off, these negatives will show up if you ever go and try to get something new. Unless you have a decade to spare, getting a clean credit report seems almost impossible to me. Bankruptcy itself doesn't come in just one flavor. I understand that while many people have bad credit and they can't pay their bills anymore and so they gotta wash it all away, not everybody's like that. Medical bills are an absolutely horrible way to go because you have a budget, you maintain everything, and then medical emergency comes in and wipes out your savings. But ultimately that doesn't matter because of the law from 2005. It basically says that you still have to go to all the credit counseling classes in order to file for bankruptcy, whether you have reason to or not. They're just making the assumption that you're horrible with credit, and you put yourself in the situation because you couldn't manage your money. And that's definitely not everybody's situation. But unfortunately, the rules are the same for everybody. After you've gone through the bankruptcy process, the last thing that happens is a bankruptcy discharge. This means that the required duties in the bankruptcy have already been fulfilled. You no longer hold any debt liability, and you will receive a financial accounting called a Statement of Receipts and Disbursements. This will be reviewed and approved by our offices of the Superintendent of Bankruptcy for full transparency. Throughout your bankruptcy, you will have received the following: a notice of bankruptcy, which indicates the official date of the bankruptcy and the list of your creditors, a discharge certificate, which officially states that you are now free from the responsibility of paying the old debt, a Statement of Receipts and Disbursements, which is sent by the trustee that details key administrative tasks completed and creditors handled during the process. How do you move on from the bankruptcy? The first thing you need to do is to keep all of your documents regarding the bankruptcy secure. This will come in handy when you need a loan or when you need to make a big purchase in the future. For example, I wanted to buy a new house, so I needed to show the loan officer the bankruptcy and foreclosure paperwork. You will also need to start rebuilding your credit by cleaning up the mess that's on your credit report. You can hire an agency whose job it is to get the items removed. They won't be able to get everything, although they will be happy collecting your money while giving you the illusion that they're still working on it. Don't get yourself a credit card. Not only will you be denied for most, the ones that will accept you have horrible terms. You'll also end up falling for the trap of endless debt yet again. Instead, try to manage your cash flow better. I would suggest getting into the habit of using the envelope system to manage your income and expenses. I used to be an absolute mess, but once I stopped all the negative habits and began giving every dollar a job, I stopped overspending on things that we didn't need, like dining out all weekend long. After filing for bankruptcy, you won't be able to declare bankruptcy again for another 7 years on a Chapter 13 and 8 years for Chapter 7. Because of the mark on your record, you'll also likely have to pay sky-high interest rates. It's important then to shop around when it comes to who you're borrowing from. By the way, keep in mind that your credit scores just took a huge hit, so make sure that you are really ready to borrow money before you take out new loans. The best thing that you can do is run the numbers with regard to your budgeting plan. Maintain a budget, a job, and a home. Pay your bills on time, start an emergency budget, and steer clear of solicitations who will offer you tons of too good to be true deals of big loans with low interest rates. This will only tempt you to fall back onto your old habits, so don't let yourself get carried away. If you do need to get a credit card and you can't get approved for a regular one, and that won't be for at least a year after the bankruptcy, instead get yourself a secured credit card that's backed by the deposit that you pay. This should help you mend your credit at least until you're eligible for a better and lower interest credit card. Other things to note after bankruptcy. You will likely have to wait 2 years after a bankruptcy before you can apply for a loan. If you were thinking about buying a house, you may even have to deal with a 4-year ban. There are ways around it, and I have another video for that. But generally speaking, getting conventional loans after a foreclosure or a bankruptcy are real bears to get. You may be able to get a car loan within a year or 2 of your discharge, but don't go expecting any great rates. Your licensed insolvency trustee will file a pre- and post-bankruptcy income tax returns. In the years after you file your bankruptcy, you will need to file your tax returns as usual and pay for balances due. You have the option of asking someone to co-sign on a new debt for you. A friend or a family member may be willing to co-sign on a credit card or a loan application if they have a good credit history. However, it's also a big risk for them if you'll essentially be putting their credit reputation on the line for you and you do the same thing all over again. If you don't pay, they may have to face the limits on their own personal borrowing as well. If you're going to do this, you have to be serious that you're going to pay it back because these people are going out on a limb for you. You also have the option of becoming an authorized user on a credit card for a friend or a family member. The more cards and the higher the limits, the better. This is a good option to take if you need a credit card without the ultimate responsibility of paying the debt. It won't affect their credit score, but just make sure that you pay what you owe if you don't want to hurt your relationship with the personal credit card owner. Or better yet, don't even use the credit card. Just have the credit on your account. Despite the bankruptcy mark on your credit report, it does look better to wipe the slate clean rather than have $20,000 or $30,000 in credit that you're unable to pay. After filing for bankruptcy, the automatic stay should keep your creditors from pestering you and harassing you for your payments. Remember, it may seem challenging to move on with your life after bankruptcy. The fallout doesn't actually look that bad. The most important thing you need to do is make a strict budget and stick to it. You should always keep in mind how difficult life was before the bankruptcy and how you swear you would never go back to those old habits again. Now that you have a clean slate, this is the perfect opportunity to do more sensible things with your finances. It's not an excuse to indulge in unnecessary expenses just because your old credit debts are gone. Remember, bankruptcy should always be a last resort, and you only get this one do-over. Use it wisely. If you found this video helpful, please click the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment. And if you really like the video, please be sure to ring the notification bell. Thanks for watching.